Live life so that you create good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you radiate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you generate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so as to emanate good vibes. The good vibes. Spread the message of your life with good vibes. With good vibes. With good vibes. Welcome to the Good Vibes podcast. Hey my friends, and welcome to this episode of the Good Vibes. I'm super excited that you are over here. Today we will continue on our journey of evolved learning. Evolved learning is when we learn from all the people in our lives and otherwise, all the things and experiences that we encounter. In general, we learn from life. So get pumped up now to feel alive with the good vibes. Hey my friends, and welcome back to this episode of the Good Vibes podcast. Today we have with us Dr. ShivaShankar, who's an agricultural scientist and a professor. He's also started a foundation called EPI, Environmental Protection Institute. This is his initiative to save the world and spread awareness about the problems we are facing due to the pollution that we are creating. But today we're talking about a different issue. I'll have him talk about the environment sometime soon. But before that, we are talking about independence. Today is the 71st Independence Day of our country, India, 15th August 2017. We won our independence on 15th of August 1947. And my grandfather is older than our country. He is 79 and a half years old, and he's a perfect person to talk about this whole aspect of independence and how we are a free country and how we should honor the people who have lost their lives and spent their entire time to win us our freedom. We are here because of them, and we need to pay them their homage and we need to pay them respect in ways that really honor them. And that's why we have Dr. ShivaShankar over here to tell us a little about how we can think about our freedom fighters who have won us our freedom and how we should think about them and how we can possibly pay our homage to them or respect them so that we really feel connected to our country and our freedom, because many countries still to this date don't have the kind of freedom that we enjoy, and how we need to be grateful for this freedom. We're going to hear a little from Dr. ShivaShankar.
I'm very happy to recall some of my early days, and those days happened to be our moment of earning our own freedom in our country. I was hardly 9 or 10 years when Independence Day was celebrated for the first time in country. Now, the speeches of such great people like Mahatma Gandhi or Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru or Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, I used to recall them, see them or hear them over the radios and read about their speeches in the national dailies then. So what prompted me always was how these people sacrificed their own life. Nehru was a giant. Gandhiji was a very big humanitarian person of the world, and Radhakrishnan was an erudite scholar in Sanskrit and other languages. But all these people came together to mold the freedom of the country. So that was the democracy that we won. That democracy has to sustain. And how do we manage to celebrate this Independence Day? As I mentioned earlier, it's not one day. It should be a 365 days of our remembrance and gratitude for the freedom that we have. Many countries which are independent do not have this freedom as we have it in India. Our democracy is a democracy of a largest country of this nature.
Really, really important words said by Dr. K. ShivaShankar. We really need to pay that gratitude. We need to have that gratitude for all these people who have worked so hard. They've worked their entire lives to earn this freedom that we have today. I would like to ask you, why do you think, what does it take for them to sacrifice their lives for something so much greater than themselves? That's what made them a giant. The fact that they were able to give it all. They were able to monomaniacally think of the goal of freedom. What does it take for someone to do that?
Yes, it is very difficult for younger people now to understand what was the psyche or what was the background before all this. So if you then examine this situation, you go back to 1947. In 1947, by that time, it was a struggle to have independent India. It was always, before that, it was always some 600 and odd small states of India. This was all brought together during the Independence Day by Sir Vallabhbhai Patel. So this is a very great moment to bring people together and accept that India is one. And look at our beautiful national song. It recalls all the states and it says that we are one, that we are united, that we do some work for our own country. So this is a concept which was given by Sri Rabindranath Tagore, the poet, the Nobel laureate of the country. So we see people coming from different walks of life. They had this thought of freedom because the farmer was oppressed because of a jamindari system. The local merchant was not very happy, and it was a country bogged down with poverty, illiteracy, and no means to come up in life individually. So the individuals thought that if a freedom could come to India, they can do better.
Yes, and the last point Dr. K. ShivaShankar spoke about was how our country was in a state of turmoil. It had no freedom in sight, and the fact that these great leaders could imagine something of that sort was giant, was something that unified the whole country, that brought us all as one. And I feel we should be able to look at this as an opportunity to celebrate personal freedom. If we look at it and if we introspect within ourselves, there's really nothing that is stopping us from achieving the freedom that we desire. It's always an internal thing, like similar to the state of India in 1947. suppose there was poverty in some place, maybe there's some kind of attitudinal poverty in our minds that is holding us back from achieving what we really desire to achieve. Maybe there's some lack of courage somewhere within us which needs to step up so that we can reclaim our personal freedom. Our country wouldn't have been free unless we had these mega giant people stand up for the cause and create a difference. Our country wouldn't be free if everyone was sitting and waiting for the next person to stand up and do something. Our country wouldn't be free if they hadn't stood up. And that's why I encourage you today to stand up, to reclaim your agenda, to reclaim what you set out to do, and to reclaim your own freedom.
Yeah, I agree with that. This Independence Day is a special day because we have the freedom. This freedom, it should be expressed in different ways. One is first to express gratitude towards our leaders who brought the country to an awakened situation. This awakening is very important because it was a poor, illiterate country as a whole, because all things were exploited to the maximum by the rulers then. And this stifled the voice of the common man, and that has improved now. So anybody can talk anything, but they can raise a question. But freedom doesn't mean that it is also responsibility. So these are discussed in our parliament system. So things are doing very well in this respect.
Thank you so much for this podcast. Like you said, we should enjoy our freedom with the same sense, know that it's also a responsibility, and in the same sense have gratitude for all those who have done whatever they have done to earn us this freedom. I hope you are proud of being an Indian, if you are an Indian listening to this podcast, and I hope you take out time to think about how our leaders have impacted us and how we are today because of the people of the past, and hold some gratitude for these people, and just take out time to celebrate this freedom in any way you feel like. I hope you enjoyed this podcast with Dr. K. ShivaShankar. I truly did, and I'm feeling a sense of gratitude for every freedom fighter or individual who's created this wonderful, beautiful country of ours. I'll meet you again next time, and in some subsequent podcasts with Dr. K. ShivaShankar, we'll discuss other issues and other topics of our country. These will be posted in another group, not the Good Vibes, but they are very interesting conversations. So look out for them. Till then, have a great day, and I'll meet you again next time. Hey my friends, did you enjoy this podcast? If you did, do rate, review, and subscribe to it on iTunes or whichever app or application you are using. And if you feel someone in your life needs to hear this message, don't think twice about sharing it. Or if you feel this inspires you to record one of your own podcasts, go ahead and spread the good vibes. Spread the message of your life with good vibes. With good vibes.